Hello everyone, this is Dan. I'm going to give you a little bit of a demonstration of the coding speed that you can achieve with WebWidgets. So I'm going to start by going to my admin portal. This is my overview zone of of all of my systems. I'm going to create a new widget called Sport Demo. Okay, and that's going to show up. I've got a lot of these things. I've used this thing a lot. It's going to show up down here. And then I'm going to go to the schema designer section, and I'm going to create a table called kid sports. And the idea here is I'm just imagining that maybe I'm a coach of a sports camp, and I have some kids who are going to go into different sports. So the kids are going to have a first name. Maybe I'll just say a kid name. So it's just one string for the kid's name. That's going to be fine. Then they're going to have a sport. Okay, and the sport is also going to be a string. It'd be a little bit cleaner to make it a integer or something like that. And then finally, they're going to be a grade. Okay, so the grade that the kid is in is going to be an integer. Okay, so I created that table. This shows me the SQLite table definition. We've got kid name, sport, grade, and then there's an ID field that all of these tables will have. So I'm going to go to this template generator and click download. Okay, so that created me a file called kidsports.wisp. It's the same. Excuse me. It's the same name as the table I created. So I'm going to go into my zone for my own widgets. So I have a folder here called Sport Demo, and I'm going to move that thing that I just downloaded, that file that I just downloaded, into this folder. And you can see that in Sublime over here in my text editor. This file is what I just downloaded and was created by the system. So it's got a lot of automatic code. A lot of this stuff is just boilerplate. You can get rid of it moving forward. I'm going to push that code. Now, normally you have to spell out which one you're trying to upload. But actually, this thing is a little bit smart, and if you leave out these arguments, it tries to infer them. So that's cool. So this uploaded to the server. So now what I can do is I can go in here and type in this, what did I call it? Sport Demo Kid Sports. You can actually leave off the, you can type out the full file name there, and that'll work, or you can just leave off the extension. Okay, so there it is. So this is a representation of the data in that table, and I can actually create new data now. So this is not interesting data, but it shows you that it's flowing into this file, into this database. I can also grab that SQLite file, and what I'll do is I'll just go in to I'll just go in and look at that file, and it should have exactly one. So this is the table that I created, and also I select star from kid sports, and these are those IDs. So 235, 67, 75 there is right there. So that's that record. And now I'll go in and edit this a little bit, Johnny D. And just to demonstrate that, just to convince you that that's really working, I will pull a new copy. And you can see Johnny D went into that file. So that file is what the server is updating. Now I'm going to show you how I can edit this this file. So one thing I usually do is to get rid of the ID field. People don't really care about the ID field. So the ID column there. And I'll say code push, boom, reload, and the ID field is gone. I'll update this kids, I'll update that heading there. Boom, that's updated. I'll change this to name, sport, grade. I'll update that. Boom, that's updated. I'll take out this ID row. Again, I don't really care too much about the IDs. The IDs are sort of a back-end issue. I'll push that up there, reload. ID's gone. Now I would like to do is make sure that the records always have a kid name. So we have a lot of records here with no kid names. So I'll get rid of those. And then I'll change this create new function. So create new is up here. And what I'll do is I'll say const name equals prompt. Please enter the name of the kid. And I'll say if name, only create the record if that prompt actually returns something. And I'll just block that into the JSON there. And I'll actually make the default grade be, there's no such thing as 0 grade. So let's say 4 will be the default. Push, reload, new. Danny S. Okay, so now we've got Danny S in grade 4, and that's going in there. This will let me change that, but it should block me from entering some garbage like that. Please enter a valid integer. So it knows it has to be an integer, but it doesn't know. It would allow me to say like some huge number, right? That's obviously nonsense for a grade. So why don't I fix that? And what I'll do is just say function update grade, and it's going to operate. It's going to work by looking up the record in the table. Edit study item. Edit study item is just when we're in this edit view, we've got an edit study item. When we go back to the main view, edit study item is just -1. So it's just the ID of the record we're kind of like looking at. And I'll say const new grade equals prompt. Please enter the grade. And I'll say if new grade. And I'll say if not okay int. This is just, OKInt is just a simple helper function I have. I'll say alert, please enter an integer, otherwise return. So if the user didn't enter a valid integer, they'll be blocked from that. And then I'll say the grade equals parse int new grade. So new grade, this comes out of the prompt as a string. So now this is converting it to an integer, which we know is going to work because we checked it. And we'll say if the grade is less than 1 or the grade is greater than 12, we'll say alert. Please enter a grade from 1 to 12, return. And if all of that worked, what we'll do is we'll say item.setGrade, the grade. Item.syncItem. So syncItem, this updates the record in the browser. SyncItem sends the update back to the server, and then redisplay refreshes the view using the new data. So we've updated the data, so redisplay will show that new data with the updated information, right? So very simple. 6 is okay. Let's try do 145. Nope. Oh no. What did I do wrong there? If the grade is less than 1 or the grade, the grade is greater than 12. Why didn't that work? Push that again. Did I refresh? Oh, do these have to be in parentheses? Okay, well that's embarrassing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There's something wrong with that check, but I'll fix that later. I want to show some other things in this video. I guess the other thing I want to do is create a drop down. So sport currently is just a free form field, like I could enter tennis here, but I want this to be I want this to be just a discrete selection from a number of strings. So what I'm going to do is say const sport list equals tennis, basketball, and baseball. And then I'm going to I'm going to use my little tool. I have a little library which is for building selectors, drop downs. Configure from lists, support list, set element name, sport cell, get HTML string. So this is not going to do anything in this version, so I'll do a couple of updates there, and I'll just put this in there. Okay, push that, reload, go in. Okay, so now we have that drop down, but it doesn't actually do anything. Okay, so to make it actually do something, we're going to say set on change, and it's going to be JavaScript dot update sport info, and that's gonna work the same basic way as this thing. Update sport info. Instead of, I'm gonna get the item in the same way, and then I'm gonna get new sport equals get doc form value, whatever that name was, sport cell. So, and I don't have to check it because I know it's going to be valid. And I say set sport. And hopefully this will work without the little glitch I had. New sport, set sport, new sport. Let's see what happens. Reload, go. Okay, so now we can see that it is selecting. And we should set the selected key so that it this just means that the default selection of the drop down will match the actual value in there when you start. So right. So now we have a nice little drop down. It's updating the data there. And I think that is all I wanted to show you in this video. I hope that gives you an idea of how it's possible to code these things really quickly. In some other videos, I'll tell you about more advanced features. Obviously, what I have right here just looks like what you would put in a spreadsheet, but we can build much more advanced features because we have control over the code in the JavaScript. Thanks for listening.